Welcome to Season 6 of Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real. Introducing corporate leaders who have taken the leap to business owner, introducing their great idea in our guest blog, found on shareyourstories.online. Our guest joins us from Sydney, Australia. With a career spanning 20 plus years across global markets, Wendy Dias is a strategy coach for thought leaders, helping experts, consultants, and speakers become the go-to name in their field. Let's find out how Wendy's created a global portfolio and helps her clients actually become the go-to name in their space. It is my pleasure to introduce and welcome Wendy.
Thank you, Trish. So good to be here.
You know what I find so interesting about your story is that you actually have had a global portfolio in addition to sort of, it looks like, spanning the globe yourself, moving from one place to the other.
I know. I've been very lucky. I finished my studies in South Africa, and then I went to London and did a couple of years in London, and then came over to Australia about 9 years ago. So
Wow.
South Africa, London, and lived in the States as well as an exchange student, but wasn't working there.
Right.
But yeah, I've been very lucky.
So what do you find would be the difference between the various different cultures? Because everybody always says, you know, there's certain things that are indicative of the places in which we live and the people that we meet. Is there really a difference, or at the core, are we all the same people?
I think I do believe at the core we are all the same people, but I would say then that there are a couple of, like, if you had to look at the layers that then, surround that, there are
Right.
certain differences,
Right.
For example, what I've noticed about South Africa, I mean, I grew up in a family where very, very social. So dinner parties, barbecues, people coming into your home spontaneously for a cup of coffee. So that was the upbringing that I had. Whereas in other countries, it's maybe not
Right.
to that extent, for
Right.
example.
Right.
And also I have been told this, that South Africans are quite direct, where you stand, whereas maybe in other cultures you have to just take a step back a little bit,
Right.
and not be
Right.
as direct, for example.
Well, you know, what's really interesting is that I think that there are cultural nuances for sure, but when you're working with a client who wants to be the go-to name in their space, what are some of the questions that you might ask that individual in order for them to be able to cross some of those boundaries?
Well, for me, it's what's important to you. What legacy do you want to leave or
Yeah.
live? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
why are you doing this, and why is it important, and what impact? So it's, as always, it comes back to the why.
Right.
It comes back to why are you doing this?
Right.
Um, because that's at the heart of it, and that's what's going to be the driving force every
Yeah, for
time.
sure. Yeah, for sure. So what's your why? What's Wendy's why? What made you decide to take the corporate leap from what your job into your own business?
Well, I just enjoyed, I think I enjoy being having my own time, and like everyone, just um, deciding my day. So I enjoy that aspect of it. I also I enjoy working with people that I like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we get to do that when we're on in our own shtick, right? Like you can pick and
Exactly.
choose who you want to work with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I've had that whole corporate experience, traveling a lot, catching the red eye, knowing the air hostesses by name because I'm on the flight so many times. And
Right.
so I've been there and I've done that. And becoming a mom actually forced me to reevaluate what I wanted.
Right.
And so that was the shift for the entrepreneurial space,
Journey.
for
Yeah.
me as well. Yeah.
Right. Now you've got an absolutely awesome logo.
Oh, thank you.
I absolutely love your logo. What I love about it is it's personal. And when I looked at your logo, I thought, okay, this person is creative.
Oh,
They're innovative, clearly there's an intelligence level and an education background that goes with it. And
Wow, you got the
I
logo.
got all that from your logo. So when you're working with a client who's trying to come up with that sort of visual impact, how do you help them? They might be shy, right? They might not be outgoing. They might be reserved. So how do you help a client take their personality and put it into the work that they're doing?
You know, I love this question because you've hit the nail on the head. I think all I do is provide a sounding board for them. It's already there. And so what I have learned is that the minute you bring an objective pair of eyes, or I present them with a couple of options, because you see, it's the same, when you're immersed in your business, sometimes you don't see the things right in front of you.
So
And
true.
it just takes someone to stand on the peripheral and go, hey, what about this and what about that? Because it's just a gut instinct for me. Also, the experience with, sales and marketing and just getting I think I've always had a really good um, people radar, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. I
I've
love
been
that.
very lucky to have met a lot of people in my life across different cultures. So I kind of
Mhm.
have fine-tuned the intuition on that.
Right.
And so I think for me, my job is to hold up the mirror and ask the right questions
Mhm.
and then just soundboard when all of that comes out. So it's about just providing them with the safe space, and
Right.
that's important, a safe space
For
to be
sure.
able to extract what it is um, that we need and who they are and what their values are. This work isn't just about, because I work in the thought leadership space, it's not just about the level of expertise that they're delivering. It's about who they are as people,
Right.
because clients purchase business from people that they like. So it's about making sure that their personalities and values are coming through in the messaging.
So, what's your niche market? You mentioned you're working with thought leaders. You've crossed a lot of, industries, I'm sure, with folks because there's thought leaders in every industry. So, who would be your ideal client? Who would be the person that you would most like to work with and that you feel there's the most synergy with?
Someone who has who's definitely got the passion for wanting share, um, to share their message and their work and their life's work. So I enjoy people who have already had the seed, they've planted the seed, they know exactly what it is. Well, maybe I shouldn't say know exactly. They've got a strong idea of what it is that they want to do, because where I think I am most impactful for a thought leader is coming in and actually helping them package their products, and
Mm,
and then from there taking the messaging and then looking at how we're going to get that out into the world. So
right.
it's a stepping stone process, so to speak. So
Mhm,
at the
mhm.
core of it is I'm looking for somebody who knows that this is exactly what they want to do and that they're so driven with purpose in getting it out there, that it's a go.
So tell me, I mean, you've clearly been at this. I mean, you have a life's work yourself. I mean, you've been in business for 20 years, you've been in business on your own. Where do you see Wendy in the next few years? Like, is there something that you're working towards yourself that's going to fulfill a lifelong passion?
Well, great question. I work with thought leaders, and
Mhm.
so I do sometimes lie in bed at night and go, well, what about you being a thought leader? You
Mhm.
have this gift of being exposed to all these brilliant minds and personalities and experiences. So why not package that and take that and run with it? So
Absolutely.
so that's kind of, you see, the thing is, Trish, it's one thing being able to market or help market a thought leader, but it's also about how to run an efficient practice as well,
So
right?
true.
So,
So
so
true.
you've got the content side of it and the IP, but you've also got to run the practice. And so I think what, you know, and also looking at what healthy habits, I've learned that as well. I've watched successful people work well in thought leadership, and I've picked up what they do right in terms of just discipline and healthy habits. So if you're merging the content with the way the business can be structured efficiently, with the healthy habits, it's a great end result.
You know, it connects the dots, right? Between the education or the information that they want to share, how they're going to deliver that message, and then the admin and the behind the scenes, that the foundational elements that need to be there in order to be successful, right?
Yeah, because time, we know time is money, and so I'm very big on how are you spending your time? You
Right.
know, how do you, let's take a week in your practice and what are you doing? And so I can say you're wasting too much time doing that. There's a
Right.
process that can be automated and we can do that, or you need to work in batches. It's draining your mental energy
Energy. Yeah.
having to face that every second day. So let's do it up front in a batch, and then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the month. It's
Yeah.
those little details and tricks that really have impact when, because at the end of the day, my job is to remove the pain so that the thought leader can focus on their genius, so to speak,
Yeah.
so
And
that
their
they can go and
messaging,
do what,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things that we do in the guest blog is we ask folks to share 3 words of advice. And I'd like for you to wrap up your conversation today by sharing with our viewing and listening audience your 3 words, which are find your tribe.
Find your tribe. That was a great question that you asked, and I gave it a lot of thought because this is something, it's not just for business, it's for life itself, right?
True.
And
Yeah.
it's what I'm teaching my kids as well.
Mhm.
Um, so, I the work that I do, it's all about creating authentic connections, because I know then from there, you're going to have sustainable business growth. So it's about finding the people that are going to resonate with not only the work that you're doing, but you as a person. And they're out there, and you don't stop until you find them. And then once you do, you build on that. And then it's magic.
I absolutely agree. You know, you've given us so many great things to think about, Wendy, not only personally, but professionally, in terms of how to connect the dots between the great ideas that we have and then how we take them to market and make a sustainable business. So I'd really like to thank you for joining us today
Thank you, Trish.
for this
I've so
edition.
enjoyed
I mean,
talking
it's
to
just
you.
been so amazing to make the connection, right?
I know, I
And
know.
I really appreciate the time and the effort that you've put into connecting with us on the show. So it's my pleasure to introduce you as part of this series in Keeping It Real, and introducing our viewing and listening audience to you as the person behind the logo. If you'd like to connect with our guest, you're going to find Wendy's contact information in the description portion below. I'm Trish Tonai, author, artist, and the founder and host of the series. And we invite you to share your business story. Just visit our website at shareyourstories.online and subscribe to our channel, Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to meeting you next time when we share another great idea.